Hi guys, it's Ellen. I am off camera today so you won't see me, but I just want to do this decoupage fairly quickly. I'm trying to get out of the light so not make any shadows. So let's see here. Move this around a little bit. So this is the little table that we started last night. I've just painted 2 coats of pink paint on it, and I just very roughly painted the top because I knew we'd be decoupaging over the top. So I want to just show you how to do this, and I'm using this wrapping paper. You can use napkins, wrapping paper, cloth. You could use, even if you wanted to, you could use something like fabric from a nice shower curtain or anything that you have. Really, you can piece things together. You can even piece napkins together, so you just water some of the edge and tear off the bits you want and piece them all together to make kind of a collage thing. But I'm just going to do this. Hey, hi Christy. And I'll show you how it goes. I'm going to get this on, and then I want to show you something else I was trying here too. So to do the top, I painted it with just briefly 2 coats. It's not even really 2 thick coats. I'm going to use this stuff called Ultra Grip, which is from Fusion Mineral Paint, but you can use Mod Podge. It just gets tackier and dries a lot faster than this does, and this stuff's pretty good. So I want to brush it on, put my wallpaper on, or not wallpaper, my wrapping paper, sorry. You can use wallpaper for this as well though. Get my paper on, let it tack dry. I want it to tack dry for a little bit, and then I'll show you how to iron it down to just seal it in really, really good. So hopefully we'll get to most of it today. I'm not sure how far we'll get, but this is Fusion Ultra Grip. So what I want to do first though is, I'm going to pull you in a little bit again. I want to kind of see, I just cut out like a big square, so I want to kind of see where I want my piece to go. I sort of want this white flower in the middle. These are all kind of odds and ends flowers, so it really doesn't matter where you put it, but I kind of want to have some balance here. So that's the edge there, that's the edge there, and this is the edge here. So I'll probably come this way a little bit, I guess. So when I put it on, I want to kind of know where I want to put it, just in general. So I'm going to put this on with a chipped brush. You can use a foam roller as well. I've used a foam roller before, and if you want to see another video that I've done on decoupage, it's on our YouTube site. You can go there and see. So you just want to thoroughly cover it. It should be a fairly good coat. And I'll probably have to put more on here. It doesn't matter if you go along the edges, over the edges, because it just dries clear in the end, and we'll probably clear coat the top anyway. After you have your decoupage all dried and finalized, you do put a clear coat over it anyway. Most people use a matte finish, so you could use Fusion's Tough Coat as a matte finish for the final top coat, or you could use Wipe On Poly water base. There's a few things. You can even get a substance from the craft store that is specifically for the top coat. So this, I'm just making sure, I'm kind of going in the light, making sure that I've got everything covered. Now, this stuff is fairly sticky to start with, so I don't have to really let it tack up too much. I've done it where I've let it tack up, and then I've done it where I haven't let it tack up. So I'm just gonna go for it because I think it's tacky enough when I feel it, and I've gone right around just over the edge a little bit. In fact, I'm gonna make sure I have, yeah, all the edges are done. So let's try to get this sort of centered. So the reason I'm putting it on now while it's still kind of wet is because I can move the paper around. If it was really, really tacky, I wouldn't be able to do that quite yet. So actually like where I plumped it anyway. So I'm going to pull it back up as I can, and I'm going to start in the center and just start smoothing it. And just use your hand, just push out any bubbles. It's exactly like wallpapering. So I can feel a ripple here. I'm going to pull this up a little bit and go out with my hand. Get rid of that ripple. Go this way and that way. And if you have a brayer, you can use a brayer to roll it out, but I find it's just as easy to do this. There might be some wrinkles in it as I'm going along, but that's where the ironing comes in after. And I will show you that in a bit. So I've got this. This is just a spatula, but what I did was I took a heavy grit sandpaper and I sanded the edges down and I sanded this down. So I should be able to push out any more bubbles. You don't want to tear your paper, so if you feel it tearing into it, just lift it up and go down again. So this is not going to perfectly glue it down until I iron it. I mean, it could, but it isn't because it's a fairly thick wallpaper, or not wallpaper. I keep calling it wallpaper, but it's actually wrapping paper people. It's really a thick wrapping paper, kind of like wallpaper really. It's just super thick. I bought it off of Amazon. It's very pretty, but I don't think I've ever had wrapping paper this heavy from anywhere. So it's kind of unusual. Okay, so there are actually some wrinkles in here, partly because it's a heavy paper, and partly because it's just wet underneath. So I'm going to get a sanding block and I'll show you what I'll do. Get some paper. So this is 150 grit sandpaper. Hi Shirley. I'm just going to wrap it around my block. And even though this isn't done, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to the edge. So you want to go away from the paper like that. And usually you do this when it's really, really dry, but I want to get it down to this point so I can actually deal with just the circular part. I don't want to deal with all this excess. So what it's going to do is perfectly cut it for you. And that is the easy way to get rid of paper and leave a perfect edge. And I'll show you again why I'm doing this in a minute. It's really easy. Okay, so I'm just going to lift this off, and anywhere it's sticking, I'll go at it again. What I'm going to do is just cut it a little bit here. There. And you can see it a bit better. So this is the best way, instead of taking an X-Acto knife like I used to see people back in the day do, or some kind of cutting knife. This is just so easy and it leaves an absolutely perfect edge. So there's a bit there. You can see how easy it comes off, right? Pretty easy. So that is the excess, and now I just have this bit on the table. I'm going to wipe off my table because now it's full of dust. And this paper is still a bit damp and it's bubbling. So usually, very rarely can you do it without it bubbling. So what I'm going to do now is take my iron and I'm going to put it on the cotton setting. This is fairly hot, but not super hot. It's not as hot as like your linen setting. And let that heat up. And you want to take your sprayer off, so you don't want any moisture. You just want the cotton setting to heat up. You're going to take parchment paper, because parchment paper can take heat up to 400 degrees. And take a chunk of this. It doesn't matter what size. I can never get the stuff to cut, right? Okay. So the parchment paper is going to protect this paper. You don't want to iron directly onto this or it might scorch it. It's got some bubbles in it. So what I'm going to do with the iron is going to heat up the Ultra Grip. It's going to press it into the wood and press it into the paper and smooth everything out. That is the plan. So if that plan doesn't work, I don't know what to say. But that's what I'm hoping for. And I've done this before. I can't say I'm a decoupage expert because I'm most certainly not, but I try to do things. Okay, for some reason, my iron is not heating up. Why? Let me check. My connections are good. Very interesting. Oh, there it goes, I think. Well, keep going, see what happens. There it goes. So it's on the cotton setting. It's starting, this one gets really hot really fast. So here we go. I think my internet just kicked out for a second there. So, and just very slowly iron it down. You want to press the edges down. I'm not pressing super hard, but I am putting a bit of extra pressure onto it. So I want the Ultra Grip to glue down. I want the edges to be glued down. I want the paper to really press in nice and tight. And you can see the heat already bubbling the parchment paper just a little bit. Okay. Now as I'm doing this, I can feel all those ridges that used to be there are gone. I'm hoping when we take this off, they are all gone. And like I said, I am by no means an expert on this kind of thing with decoupage. Decoupage is fairly new to me, but I figure if I can do it, anybody can do it. So, and then we'll move the parchment paper over here and we'll start from the center. And it's, again, it's on cotton heat, which is just the right amount of hot. I'm going right over to the edges, starting at the center, pushing out, right over to the edges. And again, I can feel every little ridge that we had is gone. So when I'm done, this should be completely flat. And I think that's probably enough heat. I'm just going to go around the very edges one more time. No wrinkles under here at all. Just going to make sure my edges are super tucked. And that is that. And it is absolutely flat. Oh, there's one little wrinkle right here. One wrinkle right in the middle. I'm going to make sure it goes down. But it's pretty fast to do. When you put on your top coat, you might have a bit of wrinkling again because it's getting the water wet. But once the top coat dries a bit, just do this very same thing. And you want a top coat on it like some kind of a sealer because you want to be able to put, you know, something wet on it maybe, or if you had it in your bathroom, you'd have bathroom items on it possibly. I'm going to put my iron away here just a second. I don't burn myself. And here we go. So that is that. That's really pretty. There's a couple little bubbles in here, but I will work on those a little bit later. But generally, it's really smooth, nice and smooth. So what I want to show you, and maybe get your opinion because I am not a painter at all. I'll show you over here. I'll put this up. I will move the thingy in a bit here. So this is what I wanted to show you and see what you think. So I wanted to kind of get these colors into this a little bit. And I know that normally you would just dry brush some white, but I wanted to get some of these colors. So I've got a little bit of yellow, light yellow, darker yellow, and then I went back and put in a little more pink. So what do you guys think of that? Is that like too much, or is it really yucky? What do you think? Because I'm not sure if I want to keep doing that. If I do keep doing that, I'll keep this tape on and I'll go around and do all of them, but you can let me know what you think. So that's it for my little decoupage thing, but I'm gonna do one more press of this too in a bit. And I will work on this a little bit more this week. I've got a really busy week coming up, so. But I will talk to you guys soon, and hopefully that helped a little bit. Talk to you later.